Good morning. I am Carrol T. Wilkinson, founder of Mirror Your Magnificence. The laws of Mirror Your Magnificence is about making a difference, inspiring, and reflecting magnificence. And my guest today, Charla Anderson, does exactly that. And welcome to the show today, Charla. I'm so excited that you're here with us.
Thank you so much, Carol. What an exciting honor to just get to talk with you and share some excellent stories and magnificent fun.
Yes, and before we start, I'd like to tell the viewers a little bit about you. Charla Anderson is a published author, speaker, coach, Zig Ziglar Legacy certified trainer, and serial entrepreneur. She is a former award-winning 34-year flight attendant and has created her own radio and TV shows. Charla has a self-published book, Candy Bar Hugs, and 2 more books forthcoming, which today we will talk about one of them. Charla has made her life's mission to help others live a satisfied life of complete peace and joy. Her mission is to leave the world a better place by leaving each person unconditionally and letting her light shine. She is outrageously optimistic and outrageously courageous. And today, Charlotte will talk about tools to trick our mind as we begin recognizing what we are saying to ourselves so that we can mirror magnificence. I am curious. How did you come up with the title Split Second Transformation? Because that's the title of one of your forthcoming books.
Yeah, Split Second Transformation, Change Your Words, Change Your Life, 31 Daily Practices. And it will be hopefully out this year, along with my other 2 books in hardback. I had a split-second moment of transformation, and at the time I didn't realize it was permanent. And it's not constant, but it is permanent, because that was in 2007. And I went from bitterness to joy in a split second. And it was magnificent. It was amazing. And I was shocked to go from this bitterness I'd carried for a long time into just feeling peace and joy in my heart, my spirit, my soul. And that's been going on for a long time now.
Well, sometimes we have a pivotal moment. Was there something that happened that gave you that split-second transformation?
It was an exercise I was working. I had a card I was in landmark education, and it was on Sunday night. And I was like, this is the best stuff, but it didn't work for me. And I was like, no, I'm not going to claim that ever again. It did work for me. And so I wasn't going to go to bed till I filled out this card that said, the possibilities I'm creating for myself and my life are the possibilities of being ... And I spent hours just sitting there and all of a sudden my pen moved and outflowed. The possibilities I'm creating for myself and my life are the possibilities of being joyfully engaged in each and every moment and powerfully courageous in asking for what I need and want. And I was like, who wrote that? And it came from spirit, right? It just came. Mm-hmm. And when it came out, it was off the charts. I woke up the next morning and I was like a different person. And I just felt the calm and peace and no angst or anger towards this one particular reason I'd been feeling bitter for a lot of years. So I'm grateful that happened. And yeah.
So why do words matter? Words that we say, words that we do.
Words that we think and words that we tell ourselves, this little chatterbox up here for sure. I believe every word matters. And I'll give an example, an easy example for us to just practice. So if we say, I'm so tired, I'm tired. I heard this teenager do it every time I talk to her, I'm so tired. And I was like, will you ever get less tired by talking about being tired? And this is decades ago. It occurred to me.
And we do that often. A lot of us do that. That's one of our big ones, right?
Whatever you say after the words I am is actually who you are. Words matter that much. And so when we say I'm so sick, or we continue to claim things that we don't want, and our heart, mind, spirit, and psyche is focused on what we don't want. And so if you could shift I'm tired, I'm so tired, to I'm refreshed, I'm energized, I'm pumped. It's not lying, right? It's not lying to yourself. It's speaking what you want, not what you don't want. And it truly, if you practice it, play with it a little bit, it makes a huge difference.
So changing that one word makes a big difference.
Exactly. And that's probably the simplest example I can give. There's millions. I mean, everything we say is, I listen to people recently, man, this is killing me. And I was like, stop, say canceled. I mean it. I mean, we think we're just joking, but it's our subconscious hears every bit of it. And it doesn't hear the words can't or don't or not. It only hears the word. So when you say I'm not tired, all we hear is tired in our subconscious. And it makes more of what you don't want.
So what are some of the tricks that we can use to change that mindset?
So in my forthcoming book, I've got my little transcript here. I'm still working on it. I've got 16 out of 31 chapters written.
Wow.
One of the ones, meditation. So we think that I've always had this thing that meditation is this big, get rid of all thoughts. We got to sit down and cross our legs and listen to music. And I believe that we can actually almost a split-second transformation to center ourselves and just focus on our breath. Okay, so if we would just take in breath, deep inside breath and out breath, and perhaps even visualize on those in breaths, maybe some beautiful, bright, brilliant hearts coming into your body and filling it up with light, and then exhaling little clouds of the stories that we tell ourselves that are not really true and probably shouldn't. We plant things in our subconscious as a child, right? A lot of times we may be making F in 7th grade, and we tell ourselves a story. It was just an F, but we make the story up that we must be stupid, and the rest of our life that I must be stupid is guarding and guiding and directing our lives. See, I told you I was stupid. See, I told you I was stupid. And it continues to do self-fulfilling prophecy sort of thing. So I think that words are so important. And one of the tricks is just breathing, taking a deep breath, taking 2 or 3 deep breaths, centering yourselves, hearing what your heart and spirit is telling you, and believe it and go with that in any given situation.
Yes. So do you have another one?
Yes. So I've got a lot of them.
I know.
So I feel like there's a change your words, change your life. And, certainly just becoming aware of what you're saying and being still and knowing. That's what I call the one that we talk about, breathing. Another one is, we're living in a world that I call is full of the spirit of offense. Everybody seems to expect to be offended or want to be offended or looking for ways to be offended. And I feel like we have an opportunity in our daily walk to shift that a little bit. And if somebody says, the world is flat and I believe the world is round, what if I just said, isn't that interesting? Tell me more. I could actually have a discourse, right? A conversation about, that's interesting. Why do you believe that? I've not heard those reasons before. It does make a little sense. And what that gives us an opportunity to do is take that moment and learn something new and shift some beliefs perhaps, or what I like to say is it gives me opportunity to just be open, and in the next few days, some other evidence one way or the other may come into play. And why not, right? So then that gives me food for thought. It gives me an education. And I don't believe one person in the world has had their beliefs changed at all. I do not believe they've had anybody will change their beliefs by force. You might speak it, you might acquiesce, you might say, yes, I believe what you believe because you're going to kill me if I don't believe it will ever change. The only way we can ever change someone else's beliefs is by loving them who and where they are. So my bottom line message in everything I do is unconditional love. Love without judgment. Just love people. And the harder they are to love, the more they need it. That's a bingo. But regardless, people need to be heard. They want to be heard. They want to be accepted. They want to be seen and heard for who they are, not, who they are. Yes. And we don't have to agree with them to love them. But isn't that interesting? Gives us those terms. Isn't that interesting? Gives us that opportunity to step back and go, that does, that doesn't work for me, but go for it, right? Just love people and let them have their own opinions. And we don't have to, I call it the Jerry Springer mentality, where we're going to hit people over the head with a chair and sue each other because we don't believe the same thing. It's ridiculous.
Yes. And I love that phrase. It really does take away a lot of baggage when you say, isn't that interesting? I heard that from Jim Rohn. Love it. Love that phrase. So before we end, real quick, tell us a little bit about your book, Candy Bar Hugs. We just have a little bit of time. So just give us a little thing about it.
This was a little book I wrote in the end of 2017. It came out, and it started because of I was observing, the big bucks line, and people were buying somebody their coffee or their fancy drinks or whatever, and it was a feel good thing, a pay it forward type thing. But I observed that perhaps the person at the grocery store checkout line, the cashier, what if I offered to buy them a candy bar, and then I would say, and do you mind if I give you a hug? And of course now it might be elbow bumps, but at the time, the one most impactful story, I offered a girl a candy bar, and she said, that's the nicest thing anybody's ever done for me. And I was like, a candy bar? And then I said, do you mind if I give you a hug?
That is so sweet. And
she said, no, let me just finish this little piece, because she said, you have no idea. I just found out my mom is terminal today. And so she was crying, and we were crying, and that one little tiny act. So now Candy Bar Hugs is now kind of, we're making it into a little bit of a movement. On Facebook, you can go to @CandyBarHugs, and we're going to begin taking a little more action on a pay it forward type movement called Candy Bar Hugs.
Well, that's so sweet. And how can someone get your book?
The book is on Amazon, Candy Hugs. It doesn't take much to make a difference. It's a 25-minute read if you're a slow reader. I mean, it's a tiny book, but it's got a big message. Amazon has the book.
That's great.
My website is charlaanderson.com.
And yes, your website. Yeah, tell us your website.
charlaanderson.com. My email is charla@charlaanderson.com. If you would like to have a further conversation, I call it a discovery call. You can go to charlaanderson.com/call, and it will set up you walk through and set up a little bit of a time to have a discussion for perhaps I do coaching as well. So if you want a shift in your attitude, because I'm your courageous coach, I'm your inspired speaker.
That is so nice. Well, anyway, thank you, Charla, for being here today. And I know our viewers got some really good advice on split-second transformations. And
May I add one last word?
Okay.
Gratitude is the key to all of it. So I have three chapters on gratitude in my forthcoming book already. So
yes, it is. Yes, it is. We all agree with that. And thank you, everyone, for joining in today. Go to my website, mirroryourmagnificence.com, and you'll receive 7 ways to magnify magnificence. And I look forward to seeing you next Monday at 11 o'clock. And everyone have a magnificence day.